Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. It's been too long, and I am so glad the international break is over. To my right is West Ham Online. Clive will be along shortly. West Ham Online, how are you doing?
Very well. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm looking forward to seeing proper football back again. Like, I've missed it. The international break is dull and depressing, and let's face it, in a month's time, we've got to do it all again. So, it is what it is. Right, Alf, as I said, after hours, we will get right into it in regards of should Soucek start or be sub at the weekend against Manchester City? Big game at the weekend. Me and you haven't covered it. What you saying for
Start
Soucek? Why?
because we are not going to have a lot of possession. I reckon we'll have about 20%
Right.
and our way out maybe through Man City missing chances and us getting goal kicks or us going long from the back to Soucek to flick onto Bowen on the right. Similar to what the idea was at the start of the Brighton game. He's also very good at contesting duels high at the pitch, so he can get us. He can try and box Man City in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd certainly start Soucek for this game, and he's in very good form this year for club and country.
Mm. Who'd you take out for you?
I'd take out Ben Rama and I'd put Paqueta on the left.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Last game against Luton, and is this really the game for Ben Rama? I don't think it is really, if I'm being honest. But I do agree with you that if you put Paqueta on the left, then you have got a lot more cover, especially the way he works with Emerson on that left hand side, like the way they sort of team up and work well together. What you reckoning for the weekend with City? Because I actually fancy us to do some damage against them, big time.
I think they're the best team in the world, obviously, so it's going to be very hard to get a result. But we're in very good form. Even the best teams have to lose and draw games.
Mm.
Won't be easy, and I do think they will probably win, but we've got bits of hope, and that's mainly coming from the fact that our attackers are in great form, especially in front of goal. So hopefully, if we get a chance, they will take it.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think Moyes ball is going to come into play big time in this game. Yeah, and I swear to God, if West Ham beats City by playing Moyes ball, I hope all these people who ain't sort of slagging off Moyes ball, ain't going to start coming out the woodwork saying, you know what, Moyes ball is the thing there. Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's the
Yeah,
perfect game for it. I think West Ham are going to sit there. I think West Ham are going to defend pretty well. Yeah, if I'm being honest. I do think Kudus has to get on the pitch earlier in this game. I really do. Like, I agree with you. He shouldn't start the game. He shouldn't, but he definitely's got to be on at least the 70th minute if West Ham are sort of still in the game. What are you saying?
yeah. I don't think he should start, but I think people complain if he doesn't. But I don't think he should because we need the Man City are going to have a lot of the ball, and we need players who understand the defensive rotations. Kudus has played 3 minutes for West Ham, and you can't start him against the toughest team in the world unless you're going to play him like up front, which he shouldn't because we got Mikel there. So
Mm.
yeah, I'd see what's happening in the 70th minute. Even then, I don't know if we'd need him for this sort of game. I'd be looking at. I think he'd suit Anfield more, and
Mm.
obviously Sheffield United at home. But
What,
but say we
what,
do
what,
start them wrong.
yeah. What do you reckon on the scoreline then? What you saying?
2-0 to Manchester City.
Ooh. Uh, Before we sort of move on, because we ain't going to just talk about the preview, because the boys done the preview earlier on, Lucas and Mitch. For me, if we score first, we get something out this game. I really strongly believe that. If West Ham come out the traps and are defensively solid, then I think we might be all right in this game. I really do. I'm not fearing us getting hammered. Do you know what I mean? And when West Ham play a free hit game, which this is, let's be honest, it's a free hit, isn't it? Like whatever happens in this game is a bonus. If we end up getting a win out of this game, then surely there has to be credit where credit's due to the management and the staff and everyone at West Ham. I'm going to go with a draw though. I think West Ham are good enough right now to go and get a draw against Manchester City. I think City, fair enough, they destroyed Burnley on the opening day. They struggled against Newcastle. They stuck 5 past Fulham, but the Sheffield United game they did struggle. They did struggle away from home, and having all their players on international duties all around the world coming back. Haaland did get a bit of a knock for Norway. I think West Ham have got the best. This is the best chance West Ham are ever going to have to try and turn City over, right, at any time. And it being a 3 o'clock kickoff, I think it's also a good thing. I think if it was like a night game or a Friday night game, it could like dull it down a bit more. But I don't know. I've got a feeling a draw is on the cards here, so I am going to say a draw. I will be doing a betting video tomorrow on that game and more. Alf, let's talk about your favourite player. It's this man, Pablo Fornals. Alf, he said no to a contract extension. What are you saying?
He shouldn't sign a new deal because he's not playing at the moment. He's got few players in his position, especially if Kudus is going to play there as well, which we will see. So if I was him, I'd wait it out, maybe sign a contract. If he starts to get game time, then maybe think about it. We've also got to think about the fact he probably does want to move back to Spain at some point.
But surely West Ham would have. Surely West Ham would have known this though, like a month ago. Surely,
probably did, but we probably just thought play the waiting game and hope he signs a new deal. But I hope he does. But at the same time, if he's not playing football and he's got people in front of him, then you can't really blame him.
Yeah. I don't know where to land on this one because I do think he's quite overhyped. I really do. I think what he does pretty okay. But other than that, he's not as good as everyone thinks he is. Some will say the same about Ben Rama, and I will probably agree with him to a point that he does get a lot of overhype. But with Fornals, what he does give you is commitment. He does care. He does care about West Ham, and when he does interviews and he scores goals, you feel the passion in him. It is a shame that one of our sort of standout people over the last few years, someone who like people idolise, doesn't want to be it anymore. I don't know what you think on that, Alf, but for me, that's a bit worrying that someone who's been here since 2019, he don't fancy it anymore at West Ham.
As I say, if you're not playing, you're not going to want to play. And I think probably the fact that one day you'll want to go back to Spain does play into it. He rejected offers from Saudi Arabia, I believe. So if that is true, then the reason does seem to be that he wants to go back to Spain. But he does love it here. And if he gets the game time, I'm sure he'd be persuaded to do another couple of years. So play it by ear, I say.
Steve Bell, thank you very much, mate. $4.99. Gutted about Pablo, but I can understand it. I can slightly understand it and all, mate. But it's just I've got a bit of a fear with West Ham at the minute. That fair enough, we're going out and trying to get these players, but we're getting rid of all the old guard. I mean, all the old players are literally being like launched out the door. Do you know what I mean? Which is a bit of a concern. Let's get to this one. Facebook user. Good evening. Do you know if West Ham have signed Lingard yet? Not yet, mate. I'm going for a draw versus City. He ain't signed yet, is he, WestHamOnline? Lingard?
No. He probably won't sign for another couple of weeks, and we don't need him to until we get an injury or something.
Maybe. So, how much would you say? Because I think obviously West Ham can't afford to let him go on a free. So, if January comes, how much would you let him go for Fornals if you don't sign a new deal?
Probably, I'd say this is quite cheap for a player of his quality in the current market, but I'd say because of the fact his deal is running out and he's not playing a lot, it'll be about 10 to 12 million, I'd suspect, which would be a bit crap. But yeah, I think it would be something like 10 to 12 million, and it'll probably go, if it's severe, then it might be even lower because they've got real financial problems. So I hope it's like someone who can afford 10 to 12 at least.
Do you think he'll be chucked in with a deal for El Nesri in January?
Nah,
because I can see that coming. Right? I don't know why. I don't know about you, but I can. West Ham haven't got a striker right now. Yeah, and they've bided their time and they're waiting. Yeah, it would not surprise me in the slightest if West Ham go in the market in January and get a couple of players. And it all depends how well we're doing in the league. West Ham are doing well in the league, and let's be honest, if we qualify out the group, which let's be honest, we should be qualifying. I can see West Ham going out and trying to get a striker and pushing on next season. Yeah, or an attacking left-sided player. Because I don't think Kudus is playing left side. I'm going to be honest. So yeah, I don't know where I feel personally. Me and you have clashed on this before with the Fornals Ben Rama thing. I look at Fornals as a player that he's been here a long time. I think he does things pretty well to a point, but there is nothing else other than that. He doesn't score many goals, and when he does score goals, it's sort of once in a blue moon. But yeah, I think if he wants to go back to Spain, you've got to respect him. He's been a good servant for West Ham. We'll say that. What about
Mm.
you online in regards of him being a servant? Has he been a good one?
Yeah, he's been a great signing. Um, Probably when he joined, we haven't got the sort of player that people thought we were going to get, but we got a player who helped the team immensely for years.
Mm,
Was brilliant, especially in 2021. And when we beat Leon, I thought he was unbelievable that night. When we beat Sevilla, I thought he was great that night. He's played right wing when Bowen's been injured and put in big performances. Sevilla's actually one of them where people forget that we didn't have Bowen in that game. Sevilla at home, and Fornals started right wing and put in a great performance.
yeah.
So he's been key in a lot of big wins. He scored the winning goal against Liverpool in a 3-2 win. He scored quite a few goals against Liverpool, actually. But yeah, been a very good signing, a brilliant, obviously the goal against Alkmaar as well. He's been a brilliant, infectious energy to have around the squad as well. And he will be sorely missed if he is to go.
Mm. Fornals is a great hard worker. Nothing amazing and hardly ever gets his a shot on target. But apart from that, I love him. What are you saying, Alf?
Um, he's basically said he's crap, but I love him.
No, um, well, it's what it is, isn't it? Cheers, gents. International break was brutal, right? I must admit, international break was hard, Alf. I don't know about you, but how did you find the international break?
There was one silver lining. Sidemen match. Now, I thought it was great watch. I thought the
Mm,
commentary was brilliant. I thought it was hilarious. It was at London Stadium as well. I watched it on a stream. I didn't capture the whole game because I was moving stuff into my new uni room. But that was the one silver lining. Apart from that, international break was flipping crap. I hate international breaks. I don't enjoy watching England. I don't care about friendlies. So yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, watching England the other night against Scotland for me, sort of move on from the Pablo Fornals thing. Right, I was watching that game the other night, and I was just so glad it was over. Do you know what I mean? Because it just feels like to me that West Ham will get ahead of steam when there's an international break. Um, we've got one in a month's time. Literally in 4 weeks' time, we've got another international break. So in that time, I think West Ham have got about 5 games in all. Yeah, and like two of them are in the cup. So for me, I cannot wait till Saturday comes. I really can't. I can't wait for West Ham to get going, get cracking again, and have to deal with all the shit that you hear about the Moyes in, Moyes out side. Do you know what I mean? I had to take a little break off Twitter for a little while because it was just driving me mad, Elf. Yeah, that people were still sort of criticising the man, and he's unbeaten in 5 games. And what people say 5 games, only four. You've also got to say about Prague and all because he won that. But it is what it is. Um, Alf, let's get into it, me and you then. Let's talk about the main topic of conversation. It's this. Who is overrated and underrated at West Ham? This is going to be a good one because I know Alf is going to be ready, even though he's done something silly tonight. Alf, who's your
What did I
overrated?
do?
I know what you've done, mate. I know what you've done, but I'm saying nothing. Right. Who is overrated for you at West Ham?
Who is overrated at West Ham?
Who would you say?
By the fan base, Ben Rama,
Right.
Areola, Naya
You think
Figueres.
you think Ario's overrated?
By our fans, yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know. He's not bad, Alf, is he? Like, I
No,
wouldn't
it's
say he's
not bad.
overrated.
No, it's not bad.
Do you know what I mean? I can understand you saying, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go through it sort of one at a time. For me, overrated, I am going to say Fornals to a point because Fornals, I do think, gets a lot of hype for what he actually does bring. I'm going to get a lot of grief now. Mikel Antonio is overrated for me personally, massively. Yeah, I think he's a good player for what he's done and what he's bringing. He's been here for what 8 years, 8 9 years, however long he's been here. But I do think, like, some of the fans think if we get rid of Antonio, that's it. It's the end of West Ham, and we can't carry on. Yeah. Who else do I think is a bit overrated at West Ham? Ben Johnson. People like defending Ben Johnson, saying that he's going to be the next big thing, right, to come through at West Ham. I'm sorry, he's not the next big thing to come out of West
Oh,
Ham, mate.
another one for overrated.
We stand for overrated.
I do really like him and I do rate him, but by our fans, I do think Lucas Paqueta is overrated for what he's done at the club. People saying he's better than Payet, I thought I was going to throw up when I saw that. People saying he's better than Rice, I vomited. He's not. He's a very good player, but I saw people as well saying, "Oh, he's been man of the match every game this season." I don't think he has.
No, he ain't been man of the match every game.
Weren't man of the match against Luton for me. Game before was Brighton. No. Chelsea. No, definitely not. And then Bournemouth, he probably was along with Soucek.
So if he's not overrated, if you was rating him as a sort of, well, where would you rate him? Where would you look at him and go, that's where he is? Because I wouldn't say he's overrated, but I would have him in high regard as a very decent player at West Ham, Paqueta, right now.
I'd say he's on a similar level. If I was to liken him to someone else from the Premier League, I'd say Eze from Crystal Palace.
Right.
Probably he's not as good as James Maddison, for example, in my opinion, who went for less. He went to Tottenham for 45 million. Paqueta was in for 80 million moves. I think Maddison's a better player than
him. Let's talk about some underrated players. I do think Naya Figueres is underrated by West Ham fans. I see saying earlier on, and a lot of fans don't really like him to a point. Yeah. Now, I'm going to defend him to a point because I think last season people looked at him and thought this geezer's absolutely crap. But there was other circumstances with it. Like he got injured. He got injured at the start of the season. He got injured at the World Cup. He come in a team that was playing a low block and he like literally fighting for our lives. Towards the back end of the season, he was okay to a point. This season, he started off absolutely awful. I will say that. I think he's underrated. I really do. I think there's a player there. I think this season he just needs to sort of start performing in the Premier League and start performing to a higher level. Who else will I say is underrated at West Ham? It really doesn't really get a lot mentioned. I'm going to be honest. No one really mentions him anymore. But Abona for me is slightly underrated. Even though people love him for how long he's been here, people probably love him because of how long he's been here, if that makes sense. They don't look at him for what he does. I think when he come on against Brighton, I thought he was absolutely excellent, if I'm being honest. When he started against Brighton, sorry. I thought he was brilliant. Like, so I'd say him. Who else is underrated for me? Ooh. I think Fabianski gets a lot of stick in certain moments, but I think he's slightly underrated for what he can do. Do you know what I'm saying?
him.
So That'd be my three. What are you saying for underrated, Elf?
Soucek, because people genuinely think he's the worst midfielder in the world, which he
But
obviously isn't.
but was he bad last season for you? Would you look at him last season and go, that wasn't a good season for Thomas Soucek?
Yeah.
Right.
Who else? Who else would I say is underrated? Mikel Antonio.
So you've got the opposite to me. You've got the complete
Yeah.
opposite to me, mate. Right. Well, you're going to clash on that one. Why is he underrated for you?
Club
Explain.
saviour. He's saved us from relegation on occasions. He
Right.
scored some very crucial goals. We've tried to replace him, and no one can replicate him. When he's on form, he's one of the best strikers in the league. He is the second coming for me of Thierry Henry.
I'll leave it at Alf. There you are trolling. Alf is trolling. Listen, everyone. Ignore this twat. He's trolling. Right. Who else is underrated for you, Alf?
Underrated.
Who doesn't really get a lot? I'm going to say Emerson doesn't get a lot of mention, really, for being underrated. I'll be honest. People, and I see George in the chat there. If George is still here, George just said he's overrated. I completely disagree. I think he doesn't get half the amount of praise that he should do, and he's been really good this season, and he was brilliant in Prague and all. So what do you say for Emerson?
Emerson, I'd say, is fairly rated in my opinion. I think most people actually rate him decently in the fan base. Underrated, not a player, but I've got to mention him. Mr. Moyes, I think, comes under the underrated spectrum because a lot of people hate on him despite his unbelievable achievements at the club. Now, when he arrived at the club, West Ham were on the verge of relegation. He saved the club from relegation. Next season, he finished sixth. After that season, he went into Europe. He beat Sevilla and Lyon, and alongside that, he came seventh. We only went out the Europa League due to a loss to Eintracht Frankfurt, in which Aaron Creswell had a red card. The next year, off season in the Premier League, but we won a trophy, West Ham's first trophy in 46 years, and to top that, it was a European trophy. David Moyes will go down as a West Ham legend, and in my opinion, his name will be spoken about in East London for decades to come.
Why? Oh, well, you've just mentioned him. It's interesting to say about him. Why do you think a lot of fans are of the opinion? Because I'm going to be honest, people are saying that I've caught the WestHamOnline disease. That's what they keep telling me. Right? That's the shit that I keep hearing, right? Is, oh, James, you've caught the WestHamOnline disease now, have you? I went, no, but I can give the geezer credit where fucking credit's due. Like, at the end of the day, if he's doing well, right, and I say it once and I say it 1,000 times, if he's doing well, fucking praise him. Like, give him credit. Do you know what I mean? Don't sit there and go, he's this, he's that, he's a twat, he's fucking wrong, and he's everything. But don't praise him, right? And then you're just waiting for him to lose so you can just go in on him again. Do you know what I mean? Where do you for me, when I look at Moyes, he has surprised me a little bit. I just, for me personally, I look at West Ham right now. I see a completely different West Ham to last year. I see a more together West Ham. People will say about Moyes ball, but I don't fucking care as long as we win. If we're winning games, who gives a fuck how we play? Do you know what I mean? Like people, I've seen comments before, people saying it's not. I don't care if we win or lose. I want to see good football at West Ham. I get that, but I've seen West Ham lose too many times to worry about always good football. I want to see us winning games of football at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And the irony is, if we lose 5 in a row and we're playing really good football, but we're losing every game, no one would want that. Everyone would be saying, well, he's got to change it. So you don't change a winning team at the end of the day. And if he's winning, he's doing well. That's what it's all about. So I get what you're saying about him being underrated. I do think he gets a lot of heat, Moyes. I will be honest, and you are right. Are you shocked how he's sort of performed this year, Alf? If I'm honest, be truthfully honest here. Did you see this coming from him? And you're being one of his staunch fans.
I didn't think we'd beat Brighton and Chelsea. Although I did put a tweet out saying that Moyes has hatched a plan to beat both, so maybe I did. I did think we were going to beat Brighton.
Yeah, I had a good feeling
Oh,
about
no,
Brighton, I
wait.
must admit.
No, sorry. Did I think we was going to beat Brighton or Chelsea? I can't remember what I said now. I said we were going to beat one of them. But yeah, I think I'm not surprised just because I know how great the man is, and Sir Alex Ferguson chose him as his successor at Man United for a reason. Moyes said
Yeah.
it himself. He wins.
Mm. I also like to sort of go on to that. I'm going to say another person who's massively underrated at West Ham, and he's a part of the coaching staff. Is Kevin Nolan. I see an
Yeah,
interview with him the other day on Talk Sport and what he was talking about, and he loves the club as much as the next man. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really think he gets a lot of mention either. Really, none of the backroom staff get a lot of mention other than like sort of obviously Moyes. Yeah, but
yeah.
they're all in it together. Like even Billy McKinley's is in there, like decent player back in his day. Do you know what I'm saying? And Kevin Nolan for me doesn't really get a lot of mention, but he's been with West Ham for quite a long time now, especially on the coaching staff. I'm not even too sure how long he's been at West Ham for. Has he been there since Moyes come back, Alf? Or has he been like
Yeah,
I don't
I
know?
think since Moyes come back, quick shout out quick to the chat.
Mm,
Sniffer on form tonight, brilliant from Sniffer, Steve Tilley, same, George Lewis, John, everyone on form tonight. Um, I'd like to say for overrated, he's left the club now, but Mark Warburton. Now he ruined David Moyes last season.
yeah.
So
Why? Why did
I've got
why did he ruin him? Tell us.
tried to change the style of play. He was the one influencing the on the floor stuff, and let's be
Mm,
honest, it was pony.
yeah. Yeah. I must admit, it's proving something to us all right now. If you look at West Ham right now as a whole, and listen, whether you are this like massive wall, like, or you're walking down that road behind me, and you're looking for the next new manager at West Ham, at present, I don't think we really need to be looking for a new manager right now. Do you know what I mean? Because like, do we really need to get rid of Moyes right now to better ourselves when currently we're actually doing all right? Um, I actually don't think he goes, Elf, if you want me to be honest. I know we're like talking about overrated and underrated people, but I actually don't think Moyes goes at the end of the season. I think he's going to get offered a new deal. I really do. And if he performs the way he's performed in the first four games, and just for argument's sake, he goes and gets a point or more against City, okay, now he's going to change us all, isn't he? Let's be real. Um, what else can we ramble on about? Anything else that you want to add, Alf? Anything what's on your mind you want to discuss, West Ham related? I did see the thing about Declan Rice and what Kevin Nolan said about Declan Rice. Anything else you want to add?
Um, I'd like to discuss personally
Go ahead.
the future of Mohamed Kudus in terms of positions. Where would
Yeah.
you play him? Because I'm still struggling to see where he fits in.
Um, I honestly don't know, mate. And I don't think no West Ham fan knows at the minute. Anyone who turns around and says they know where Kudus is coming in and playing, like, I'd fucking love to hear it. Do you know what I'm saying? I really would. For me, I think he's coming in as a player that sort of can rotate with Bowen. Where now, if Bowen goes up front, we've got no one on the right. And if, for argument's sake, if Antonio goes down, you put Bowen up front, put Kudus on the right, nothing really changes on that right hand side. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a bit of a problem for me. I don't think he plays on the left. Does he play as a 10? I don't see it myself. I really don't. I think the only place he plays is on the right. And I just think he's sort of the natural replacement for Bowen if Bowen goes into an attacking position. Do you know what I mean? Personally, who would you rather have, Alf? This little question to turn it around on you. Um, would you rather have Bowen or Kudus up front? Because I think if you take Bowen and put him up front, I think you're losing that defensive aspect. I think if you put Kudus up front, I think he could be better, especially with the Premier League, where do you know what I mean? It's so fast. What you're saying?
I personally think Kudus needs to be on one of the wings, but I agree with you on Bowen and the defensive aspect, which is why I don't get where we're going to play Kudus because apparently he doesn't really play on the left much. So it's a strange one. It's easy to say.
It is a strange one, I must admit. Go on, mate.
It's easy to say to drop Benrahma for Kudus, but as I say, Kudus, we don't even know if he can play off the left properly. So
Yeah, I
I'm
don't think
really
he's
not
left
sure.
sided. The only thing I can think of is if West Ham go three at the back with wing backs and then play two up front. Now, if West Ham was to go, let's say 3-5-2, and have Bowen as a right-sided winger stroke fullback, yeah, that's the only way I can see it. I know it sounds mad, but I can't see it any other way at the minute. I really can't. You know what I mean? He's definitely. I'll be stunned if he starts on the left hand side. I really, because he's never done it for Ajax, and if he has, he's only done it in like one game. Yeah, on the right, I think he's perfect for Bowen. And let's be honest, there is a plus side to this. Having this geezer here takes the weight firmly off Jared Bowen. Like in certain games, you can take Bowen off or bring Bowen on for 20 minutes and have Kudus starting on the right hand side. So I think it does benefit us long term. Right now, I just don't see where he sort of lands. Do you know what I mean? Um, I've got a question for you, Alf, as this is the after hour show, right? And then I am going to get to questions from the chat. So get your questions in. Anything you want to ask me, Alfie, and I do mean anything, will be read out. Paqueta, James Ward-Prowse, and Edison Alvarez. Where do you rate them as in the best Premier League midfield? Well, what category would you rate them out of the top 20 teams in the Premier League?
Off the top of my head, I'd probably put them about, on paper, fifth.
Someone asked me this the other day, and I literally stood there and went, I'll tell you what, it's quite a decent midfield. Like Edison Alvarez, yeah, is for me, I just think it's quality. Yeah, I really do. I love the geezer already. I think he's just everything that you want in a West Ham player, like heart, commitment, desire, grit, everything. Yeah, I think Paqueta's the showman, the one who can make things happen. And I think James Ward-Prowse is like the puppet master, the one who pulls the strings. I actually think they've got to be in the top five as in the midfield, as midfield three. If you combine that midfield three, you're probably looking at Man City, you're probably looking at Arsenal. Then after that, who else is there really? Like Newcastle, I don't know. I look at other teams and I look at like Chelsea midfielders. Fair enough. They got Calcedo, was it Enzo Fernandez? They've got a good midfield, but when I look at ours, I think ours is pretty tidy midfield, isn't it, Alf?
I think Man City's is obviously better.
Yeah.
Liverpool's is it's better, but they do lack a DM. I would say it's better though. Arsenal's is better. That's 3.
After that, it's hard, mate. Trust me, because it ain't a lot.
Chelsea, I would say Chelsea's is better. I think ours and Tottenham's poor. You know what? I'd say we got the 6th best. I'd say Tottenham's is better than ours.
Who's Tottenham's three? Would you say?
Maddison, Bissouma, Sarr.
Don't know about that, Alf. Oh, I don't know. Madison, all right, fair enough, but not Basuma and Sarr for me. Over Enzo and over Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse.
I really rate Bissouma. I think he's ridiculous. A ridiculously good player, and I think Sarr, for his age, I think he's been unbelievable. To be fair, I do really rate them 3. I think it's certainly close though.
What happens if Alvarez doesn't start at the weekend, Elf? For you, I'll be disappointed if I'm being honest. What you saying on that?
No, he should start. He should start, but if he's not in the condition to, then
yeah,
it might be a good thing.
He has to start. I'm afraid he has to start. What is Alfie studying at uni? What are you studying at uni, Al?
I am doing sport journalism.
Has anyone recognised you, Alf? Right. I remember you telling me this once.
No, they have, yeah.
Right. No, but has anyone recognised you? Or has anyone been speaking about you? Like, and you've been standing there going, like, not saying anything. I remember you telling me once that someone was saying, that West Ham Online, or was you on the coach? I can't remember where you was, but I
No,
remember you
yeah,
telling me.
that was on the coach to Liverpool.
Right. What was the one where you was in uni then? Any stories, Alf?
Oh no, they asked everyone in the room how many followers they've got,
Right.
and I said 30,000, and then I had to explain it in front of everyone, and a few people did follow it. So yeah,
Fair enough, mate. You're a fucking blagger, mate. 100%. Do you know what I mean? Biggest blagger I know. Do you guys know if Prowse is fit for the City game? I think he is. He was training the other day. I see live pictures of him. So
well, I've read today from Chandler Wilson that he's pulled his calf or something. So we will see.
ooh, good old Chandler Wilson. Right, let's have a look. See what else we got here. Enzo Fernandez, Pony, waste of money. What do you reckon on that, Alf? Waste of money for you?
Overpriced, maybe. Waste of money. No, he's unbelievable footballer.
Hmm. Question: how did you meet Lucas, Alf?
Through this.
Have you not met Lucas in person since
Oh,
he's
I've
been
met him
over?
in real life. Yeah, I have met him
Yeah,
in real life.
yeah. Where did you meet? What game did you go to? Did you go to Liverpool with him?
Well, no, but before that, the day that you picked him up from the airport, I
Oh
met him because
yeah,
we played someone. I can't remember who now. Did we win? Oh,
I think you
who did
did.
we play? Any ideas?
I think it was. I'll tell you, who it was. I will tell you exactly who it was because I remember it clear as day. It was. Was it Wolves at home, and we won 2-0, and Skamaka scored. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
yeah,
it
it
was.
was.
Yeah, it was Wolves 2-0 at home. Skamaka scored, and he was there. And I went all the way
No,
to
yeah, it was.
Stansted.
It definitely was that one. Yeah,
I
I
went all the way
thought
to
it was, but
Stansted.
then I thought it was too dark. But then I remembered it. Obviously,
No,
it
it
was
was a
the
five
winter, so it
thirty.
was,
It was a
yeah.
5:30 kickoff. Went all the way to fucking Stansted, picked him up, got all the way back, dropped him off at Romford. I said, right, I'm off now. I've got to go do some things. And then he's up there head banging away out of his nut. Right. They met Lucas in an abandoned cave in Kentucky and offered him a ride home. They've been in love ever since. Wolf, you know the truth, mate. We don't tell no lies on this channel.
WTF.
You know what I mean? Alf, historically sporty journalist knows everything about journalism and nothing about sport. Have you learned much about journalism, Alf? Any?
Uh, I guess so, but a lot of it's a load of rubbish, if I'm honest.
Do you enjoy it, though, Alf? Like, do you enjoy uni life? That's the question.
It's hard to say because it's not your typical uni. So I'd say in that
Right.
sense, no. I'd rather I went to a bit more of a, sort of better atmosphere uni sort of thing. But
Mm.
the course is okay, I suppose.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know. You got to do it, ain't you? You're only young. You got plenty of time to have get smashed out your face, mate. I mean, even though you do get smashed out your face round Wembley, I might add. So yeah. Let's get to Cockney Murph or Smurf. Have you ever been recognised on the street, James? And did they ask for a selfie? No, mate. I haven't been recognised on the street. I am like
Have you not
incognito.
been recognised anywhere?
I got recognised once, yeah, when I went to the friendly for West Ham, Dagenham Redbridge. Tell you what, yeah, right. I know we're having like a late one, yeah, but amount of faces that you see over there. And I was going, I've seen him on Twitter, seen her on Twitter, seen him on Twitter, and I was walking through, and obviously I know quite a lot of the people over at Dagenham Redbridge, like very, very well, yeah. Like one of my best mates is his brother sort of runs the show over there, so I've known them all for a long time, and yeah, I was in the bar after having a pint, just sitting there, and some old boy come up to me, Steve. He'll probably be in the chat. He come up to me and he went to me, "You're E20, ain't you?" I went, "Oh, here we go." I thought someone wants to have a pop. Do you know what I mean? Right, what have I done there? And he went, "No, I love it, mate. I love you and the boys." He mentioned Lucas. He said about you, Alf. He said that Alf's a bit of a character, really. I said, "Yeah, but someone's got to put up with him." Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he was all right. He was good as gold, absolute gentleman. Obviously, there's going to come a time when someone wants to have a go, and like, it is what it is. But um, nah. yeah, that's the only time really. I've never really been sort of meant like seen or anything like that. I'm
Oh,
always here.
I had someone as well when I was playing football at not Dagenham actually, Southend the other day.
I
He
remember you telling
recognised,
me this.
he heard my voice and knew straight away, which that's happened about 4 times, which I don't well, where I don't get how, but
All them bloody spaces, mate, with Andrew Analyst that you keep doing. Do you know what I mean? Right, let's get to it. Uni's the best years of your life. I agree on that. What we got here? I like Claret
life's a
and
bit
Boo.
crap then.
I like Claret and Booze and all their shows, but almost everything they say is quite negative. Is kind of like talk sport. Well, they can crack on and do their stuff. Uh, Alf, why don't you show your face, mate? Would you ever?
I don't because I don't want to. When I go to all the games and that with my family, I don't really want to see anyone on there. Like I don't want people coming up to me. I don't. I just want to be. And like if I go and meet Mitch, you'll see me then. If I'm with Mitch, you'll sort of be able to work it out. But I don't see any positive in doing it at the moment. Maybe in a couple of years, if I moved country or something, or if I stopped, if I got rid of my season ticket, then I would.
Oh, leave it out. Fucking leave it out. So what? You got to move country now, have you?
Yeah,
Have you offended that many people, Alf? Do you know what I'm saying?
probably. Yeah,
Fucking hell, mate.
no,
Honestly,
but even in a positive way.
yeah.
Everyone who's recognised me has only said positive things, and even then, I was like, "Oh, I don't really like this."
What? How can I
Because
put this?
it's a bit like when they randomly like spring it upon you, like even when
It
you
is.
like
It is, mate. I will be real. Yeah. When Steve, if he's in the chat, shout out to Steve. When he come up to me, my first thought was like, this geezer wants to have a row with me straight away. Yeah, I was thinking like he's right up in my face. And my mate was standing there, and he's like, "James, do you know this geezer?" I was like, "Mate, I don't know who this geezer is." Yeah. And when he mentioned E20, I went, "Here we go." Like, and you just automatically think the worst. And then he come out of it and just say, "Oh, I love what you lads do and all that." And I was like, "Do you know what? I'll be real. When they say that to me and they say, "Oh, like, we respect like what you're doing and all that," that gives me so much pride, not just for me, but for all the boys, you,
yeah,
Mitch, Lucas, Tom, all of us, yeah, because it shows you that we're doing something right. Do you know what I mean? We're not. Listen, I've always said this. We're not trying to be the biggest channel in the world. Yeah, we're not. But it's a grind with us lot because we ain't got people helping us. We do everything we do ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? And no one's fucking helping me like build this up. The only people who are helping me are the people who are involved, and that's all the boys. Like I don't see anyone else like trying to give us a leg up in life. Do you know what I'm saying? We're fucking grafting for what we got. And when people come up to me and have said things before to me, and I've met people obviously, like West Ham fans, and they say, "Oh, like we see the stuff you're doing." When I went to watch the final, yeah, like the conference final, and I spoke to a few West Ham fans. These geezers are my mates who I've known for years, and they obviously they follow the channel and you know and say some of the stuff that we get up to on here. But it's fucking good though, mate. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't change this for the world. Like it's very clicky in
yeah.
the West Ham community. One thing I will say, I'll be real, it's very clicky. If you're not like if you're not fucking up someone's ass, then you're not cracking on basically. And I'm not being funny. I'm not up no one's ass, and nor are the boys. So,
I
what, you know what I'm saying?
Keith has just donated £10. So thank you, Keith. That's very
I've got to
kind of
read
you.
that out. Alfie, put that towards a false beard and sunglasses disguised, mate. P.S. I'm happily buy you a beer mucker. Yeah.
I don't
Thanks,
mind
Keith.
meeting people at the game actually. Like if I was to say to someone on Twitter, I'll meet you at the game, then I'd do that. That happened at Luton the other day actually. I met a few people, but I wouldn't.
Who'd you meet? Who'd you meet at Luton?
Elite analyst, me and Mitch meet him.
Mate. Do you know what? Do you know what? Yeah. When I found out who he really was, right, and I done my research, yeah, I found out who he really was. I could not believe it, if I'm honest. Like he's completely the complete different person that he looks like, he sounds like. But you know, did you have a good time at Luton? Did you?
Yeah, it was brilliant. To be fair, me and Mitch are going to try and go. We're going to try and get tickets for Villa, but I think that'll be borderline impossible. So
Yeah, I know, mate. Anger's in the house. E20 is literally massive to me, boys, and thank you. Shout out to Anger, top man. He jumps on the
Yeah.
spaces. Him and Alfie have many disagreements, but it's all love. It's all love, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Anything else, Alf, you want to discuss before we wrap this up, mate? Anything
Yeah,
you want to ask me? Anything?
I've been up front lately in five-a-side, and I've
Right,
really started to improve my back to goal play.
right. Is that it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hal, for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, we would have to see. Are you about at the weekend, Alf? Are you on the player ratings with me the weekend, or are you not?
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
Well, it will be one of them days, Alf. So
Yeah, I should be there.
yeah. Alf? Have you ever seen? Do you know, like what I've just said to you just a minute ago when I said like when I see them people like before? Have you ever been to like games and just be like kept your head down, but you've noticed people from Twitter?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
see it like Luton because it's such a small way, and I saw loads of people I know. A few of them
Did
have
you?
got me blocked on Twitter actually, so I didn't say anything. But
Fuck me, I need to me, JD. Who fuck has blocked you now? Mate, I get blocked at all, mate. Me and you both get blocked for nothing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I put out one post, people, and I get fucking blocked, mate. That's how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
thanks, thanks,
they,
Anger.
they fucking blocked you today, mate. Fuck me. Unbelievable. West Ham massive. Shout out to Rob. He's just started up a new channel. Uh, Good evening, Rob. I hope you're doing well, mate. And if you need any support by jumping on here anytime to write your stuff, more than welcome, mate. More than welcome. I saw you on the tube, James.
Oh
Oh, I
yeah,
remember that. Yeah, listen, mate.
shout out to Rob. Yeah, his new
Yeah,
channel. Please go subscribe.
yeah, go and subscribe to your channel. I remember seeing Steve, yeah, Steve Tilley, yeah. Now I met Steve before. I had a beer with him, yeah. Really top geezer. He lives locally to me, right? I was on the train. I can't remember where I was coming back from. I was coming back from somewhere, yeah, and I was on the train, and I hear someone shout at me, and fucking, I'm thinking, who the fuck is that? And it was him. He was calling me down. I was thinking, like, somebody's just shouting at me, saying, James, like, yeah. And I was like, mate, I don't know who this geezer is. And as I got closer, I realised who it was. And I remember that, Steve. That was on, I think it was on the fucking C2C line. Fuck knows where I was going, but you know what I mean? I tell you where I was going. I think I was actually going over to Grays, if I remember rightly. I was going over to Grays in Essex, but you know, it is what it is. Alf, thank you very much, mate, for coming on tonight. Clive was going to come on, people, but he's had a bit of an injury blow. He done his leg or his ankle on Monday night, and he's currently up A&E. So yeah, he's let us down tonight, but is what it is. Sack him, but I hope he gets well soon, mate. I hope he gets well soon. Alf, any plans for the weekend other than West Ham?
Tomorrow I will go to the pub.
Are you going to the local establishment in Leon C? Is it, or is it more? I actually know the boozy that you go in, Alf. You know what I mean? Someone, I swear, someone's told me that you go in this pub along the high street or something, not far
Yeah,
from
it
your
is, yeah.
crib. Yeah, they've seen you in there getting Larry at night, but it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Listen, me and Alf are going to stop rambling. Listen, please do subscribe to E20 Zone TV and please do smash a like on the video. It's been a good one tonight. And it's only been me and Alf, like the dynamic duo. And yeah, that Clive's wanking over Soucek. Let's hope not. I need him back. I need him back. I don't mean Soucek, but bloke at work got a knee injury. Player walking football actually simply ripped the piss out of him.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
I
is
know, mate.
terrible. How do you get an injury playing walking football?
Mate, I can't even fucking walk to the fridge, mate. Do you know what I mean? Thanks, lads, for the brilliant content as always. Love the diversity between you both. Yeah, me and Alf hate each other. We've got a love-hate relationship, me and Alf. I want to kill him sometimes, but he's like a little brother. He's like a little brother I never had. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up there. Tomorrow for the members, I'm gonna be doing a betting stream tomorrow, so it'll be at tomorrow afternoon, stroke evening. Listen, before I go, yeah, it's been a rough few days for me personally. Yeah, I haven't really said nothing. I've been keeping it to myself, but I've had quite a lot of bad news over a small space of time. the boys have done their thing, got cracked into it, and got getting things done. But I'll be back in the sort of next few days, fully on form. Thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel over the last sort of few weeks. And listen, we're getting our numbers up, and 3K is slowly like amongst us, basically. So yeah, listen, really do appreciate everyone's support. Appreciate the chat. After full, watch along, player ratings all this weekend on E20 Zone TV. That has been me and Alfie. Alfie, any final words?
Charlie Walsh has just arrived, so I'd like to say hello to the great man.
Yeah, get well soon, Charlie Walsh, and big up Hammers Chat. From me to you, take care of yourselves, and above all else, each other. Peace.